आपको ये क्या दिख रहा है? बच्चों,
यस सर।
आपको दिख रहा है ये जो मैंने बनाया है?
यस सर।
क्या है ये?
वेलकम टू केमिस्ट्री क्लास।
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। आज का टॉपिक क्या है? व्हाट इज द टॉपिक ऑफ टुडेज डिस्कशन?
Scientific reasons based on evaporation and factors affecting evaporation.
Very good. Thank you, dear students. So, welcome to the chemistry class for 9th standard on 21st January 2021. Today we shall discuss about the scientific reasons based on the evaporation and the factors affecting evaporation. In the last period, my dear students, we have in the last period, my dear students, we have studied about the evaporation. Can any of you tell me what is the definition of evaporation? What is evaporation? Any one of you, please? Okay, no problem. Evaporation is the process of converting liquid into gas below boiling point. Below boiling point of liquid. There are various factors that affect the evaporation. So evaporation is directly proportional to the three things. Can you tell me which are those three things which evaporation directly proportional to the? One is temperature, another is speed of wind, and the third one is surface area. And evaporation inversely proportional. Evaporation is inversely proportional to humidity. Thus, if humidity increases, evaporation decreases. If humidity decreases, evaporation increases. So, if humidity decreases, evaporation increases. But if humidity increases, then evaporation decreases. That is how you can understand. But here in this case, you can easily say that when temperature increases or speed of wind increases or surface area increases, evaporation increases. But if temperature decreases or speed of wind decreases or surface area decreases, evaporation even decreases. So this is how we can summarize what we have studied into the last period about the evaporation and the factors affecting evaporation. Now we can move and study the various scientific reasons on the basis of which we can understand about the various reasons based on the uh, evaporation and factors affecting evaporation. Let us study these reasons, my dear students. Now, what you can see on your screen, can you read it for me? I have underlined something. What is written?
Scientific
for
reason.
me? What is this?
Scientific reason.
Very nice. Thank you. So, now we shall study about the scientific reasons that are based on the evaporation and factors affecting evaporation. The first reason, why should we wear cotton clothes during the summer? So we wear cotton clothes during the summer because cotton clothes absorb the sweat and keep our body dry. Now see, if we write this, we need to understand that why should we wear the cotton clothes. So please pay attention, my dear students, that if we have cotton clothes and if there is summer, my dear students, what happens during summer? Temperature is high. So we feel hot. As we feel heat, what happens? We perspire. As we perspire, what happens, my dear students? We have sweat. Now, if you wear the cotton clothes, this sweat is absorbed by the cotton clothes. And what happens? These cotton clothes, they easily allow to evaporate the sweat. As the sweat can be evaporated by taking energy from our body, by taking energy from our body. When this sweat takes energy from our body, my dear student, when this take energy from our body, what happens? Body feels cool. Body feel cool. And in summer, if you feel cool, it is good. It is good to feel cool in summer. And that is why we should wear the cotton clothes in the summer. Now, if you do not wear the cotton clothes, what happens? This sweat will not be absorbed very well by the clothes. And that is why the sweat will not be evaporated and the body will not feel cool. So that is why it is advised to wear the cotton clothes when it is hot summer. I hope you understood, my dear students. Now let's look into the second question. Let's look into the second question, my dear students. Why do we see water droplets on the outer space of glass containing ice cold water? So if we feel the ice cold water on a glass, why do we see there are some water droplets on the glass? The air around the glass containing water vapor in it. This water vapor in the air, we call it as a moisture. So this air around the glass containing water vapor in it, which is what we call it moisture. When this water vapor come in contact with the cold air outside the surface of glass, they condense. That means the water vapor or the moisture condense and form teeny droplets of liquid, and that is why we can see the water droplets on the glass which is having the cold water. Next question. Why desert cooler cool in a hot dry day? First of all, my dear students, you should know what is desert cooler. Desert cooler is actually something that is made up of cloth that absorbs the water well. So we can say that desert cooler desert cooler absorbs the water well. When this desert cooler absorbs the water well, my dear students, what happens? This desert cooler absorbs the water well. When it absorbs the water well, let us see. Because due to the higher temperature in a hot day, increase the rate of evaporation of water, and dryness of air also increases the rate of evaporation of water. And due to the increased rate of evaporation of water, we feel cool on a hot dry day. Now let me explain this to you what happens. My dear students, suppose you have this desert cooler. This is your house, and you have a gate or you have a window in it. Now, in this window or on this gate, you have a desert cooler. So, this desert cooler is available on your gate or on your window. This is the desert cooler. It is a kind of cloth or a mat, you can say that. That is what it is available on your window or on your gate. Now, what happens, my dear students, when this desert cooler, we sprayed water or we sprinkle water on it. So in this on this desert cooler, what do? We sprinkle water on it. Sprinkle water on it. When we sprinkle water on it, you know that in summer we use this desert cooler, and that is why the temperature is high. So this water present on this desert cooler evaporates. Water evaporates. Dear students, to evaporate, water will take energy from your house. So there is air inside your house. This is the air inside your house. This air inside your house, my dear students, this air inside your house this air inside your house gives energy to desert cooler. The air inside your house gives energy to desert cooler. Energy. So the energy which is given to the desert cooler is given by this air. And as this air gives energy, energy inside your house, air inside house, this air inside house, my dear students, it loses energy. This air inside house loses energy, loses energy. As this air inside house loses energy, this air become cooler. This air turns out to be cool air. And on a hot summer day, in the summer, if the air inside your house is cooled, air inside house is cooled. That is what you wish or that is what you want. So that is why in a hot summer day, what we do, we use the why desert cooler cool in a hot dry day. Thus in a hot dry day, my dear students, the desert cooler cools our house. And that is what we need. And that is why we use the desert cooler. Now, my dear students, on your screen, you can see one cup and another is saucer. Now, under the saucer, you can see it is written that large surface area. We know that, my dear students, that evaporation is directly proportional to the surface area. Now, suppose you fill tea into the cup, which is hot. You even fill hot tea into the saucer. What happens? The tea into the saucer, the water present inside the tea will evaporate. Same way the water inside the cup also evaporate. For evaporation it takes energy. For evaporation it requires energy. So energy is being needed. From where do this tea gets energy? The energy is taken from the tea itself. So this energy is taken from hot tea. So this hot tea becomes cooler. Hot tea cools down due to the evaporation. Please remember, my dear students, that we either fill the tea in a cup or we fill the tea in the saucer. In both these cases, when the tea is hot, the hot tea takes energy from itself and it gets evaporated. When this tea gets evaporated, the hot tea becomes cooler due to the evaporation, and we can drink that tea very easily. Now, can you tell me where will you find the tea to become cooler faster, with the large surface area or with the small surface area? My dear students, in which pot you will find the tea to become cooler faster? Where will you able to drink the tea faster? Whether it will be there in the saucer or whether it will be there in the cup?
Saucer.
Why?
Saucer.
Why, my
Saucer.
dear student? Why?
Because it has large surface area.
So what happens? Dear students, if it has got large surface area, so what is the benefit of having large surface area? What is the benefit of having large surface area? Dear students, when we have the large surface area, the tea inside the saucer absorbs energy from the tea. So evaporation takes place. Evaporation causes cooling. So tea inside the saucer get evaporated and get cooled, and that is why we can drink that tea very easily. Thus, my dear students, we can get the evaporation very easily. So this is how, my dear students, we can understand that the evaporation causes cooling. See, my dear students, I have already explained you that if you have a house and if you have desert cooler on the door with water, if you have desert cooler on the door with water, this water evaporates and causes cooling of the house. So this is how you can understand the evaporation cause cooling, as well as we should use the desert cooler in a hot summer day. House with a desert cooler on the door. Then, my dear students, here we want to study about something that is our matka. This matka, that is what we use into our house for making the water cool during the summer. This matka, in English, it is known as the earthen pot, or we call it matka. Now what happens, this matka is made up of the earthly material. And that is why we call it earthen pot. This matka has got very small pores, or you can say it is made from the sand and dust. So when matka is produced, there are small pores in the earthen pot. This water comes out from inside the matka or inside the earthen pot, and this water evaporates. As my dear students, we are well aware that evaporation causes cooling. So due to the evaporation, or for evaporation, the energy is taken from the water inside the matka or inside the earthen pot, and thus the water inside the earthen pot become cool. As my dear students, we are well aware that evaporation causes cooling. Matka or earthen pot get cool, and thus the water inside the matka get cool. So this is the phenomena, or this is the process in which we can get the matka, or we can get the water inside this earthen pot cooler, and we will be happy drinking that. But please mind well, my dear students, that when we feel water inside the earthen pot, we generally get the water evaporated that cools the water, and we are happy drinking that water in summer. How does the water kept in earthen pot become cool during the summer? The earthen pot has a large number of extremely small pores in its wall. Some of the water continuously keeps seeping through these pores to outside of the pot. This water evaporation continuously takes, and thus the latent heat required for vaporization from the earthen pot, and then the remaining water leads to heat and get cool. So now it is easy for you to understand this. Then we have the next question. Why does our palm feel cold when we put some acetone, petrol or perfume on it? Before I explain you, my dear students, please remember that this acetone, petrol or perfume, they are highly volatile. Highly volatile. Now what is the meaning of volatile? That is what we need to understand. That means they are highly volatile. It simply means that these substances have low boiling point, low boiling point, or they evaporate faster. They evaporate faster, or they required less energy to evaporate. Please remember, the another meaning of being volatile means require require less energy for evaporation. So when these substances require less energy for the evaporation, what happens? As these substances requires less energy for evaporation, they can be easily evaporated. So my dear students, when this acetone, petrol or perfume, we put them on our skin, what happens? They take energy from the skin. When they take energy from the skin feel cool, and that is why our palm feel cold when we put some acetone, petrol or perfume on it. Now let me read what is written in the text. Because this is due to the fact that to change from liquid to vapor state, spirit, that is petrol, acetone or perfume, requires latent heat of vaporization from our hand. So the hand loses heat and gets cool. Now we have the next question. Why are we able to sip, means drink, hot tea or milk faster from the saucer rather than a cup? This is what we have already discussed. Let me read the text for you. Saucer has a large surface area. Due to the large surface area of saucer, the evaporation of hot tea from the saucer is faster, and this faster evaporation cools the hot tea more quickly, making it convenient for us to drink it. Next question. Why is it not advisable to take bath on a beach or on a bank of river during the winter? My dear students, it is not advisable to take bath on a beach or a river bank in winter because the rate of evaporation, because this water evaporates, because my dear students, the water evaporates from our body. So my dear students, it is not advisable to take bath on a beach or a bank of river, because what happens, dear students? Because water evaporates from our body. So when the water evaporates from our body, what happens? Evaporation causes cooling. Evaporation causes cooling. So even it is winter and then we feel cool. We feel cool. So there is a possibility that we can get cough and cold. We can get cough and cold. To avoid the disease or to avoid the condition of cough and cold, to avoid cough and cold, my dear students, we avoid to take bath in the winter from the river bank or sea. Why putting clothes for drying up? Why should we spread them out? So please understand, my dear students, that when we want to dry our clothes, these clothes are being dried. Opening them, we spread them. So why do we spread them? The rate of evaporation of liquid can be increased by increasing the surface area. So if we spread the clothes out, the surface area will increase and it will dry up easily. We know that evaporation is directly proportional to the surface area. So if we spread the cloth, when the clothes are being spread, the evaporation becomes faster and the cloth gets dried up faster. So when they faster, when they dries up faster, they can easily be dried up. Why clothes do not dry up faster in the rainy season? The clothes do not dry faster in the rainy season because during the rainy season, my dear students, the environment or the atmosphere is humid. So as my dear students, we have humid atmosphere, humidity is increased. We know that evaporation, we know that evaporation is inversely proportional to the humidity. So as humidity increases, evaporation decreases. So if the rainy season has got higher humidity, the evaporation becomes slower. And as the evaporation becomes slower, the clothes do not dry up faster. So when the humidity of air is high, the rate of evaporation is low. And as water evaporates very slowly, thus in the rainy season, humidity of air become high, so the wet clothes take a long time to dry. Why do clothes dry easily in summer? My dear students, we know that evaporation is directly proportional to the temperature. As evaporation is directly proportional to the temperature, in summer, my dear students, we have high temperature. So as temperature increases, evaporation or the rate of evaporation increases. As the rate of evaporation increases, evaporation becomes faster, and that is why our clothes dry easily in the summer. The rate of evaporation on increasing the liquid, the rate of evaporation liquid increases on heating or on temperature, and thus more particles of liquid get enough kinetic energy to go into the vapor state, and thus the clothes dry faster in the summer. Then, my dear students, we have one more reason. During the rainy season, we keep fan on for the clothes to dry faster. During the rainy season, what happens, my dear students, when we keep the fan on, the speed of wind increases. The speed of wind increases. As the speed of wind increases, my dear students, the evaporation or the rate of evaporation, my dear students, the rate of evaporation is directly proportional to the speed of wind. As the rate of evaporation is directly proportional to the speed of wind, and if the speed of wind is increased, the rate of evaporation increases, and that is why the clothes dry faster. The rate of evaporation of a liquid increases with the increasing wind speed. When the speed of wind increases, the particles of water vapor move away with the wind. This increases the rate of evaporation of water, so the washed clothes more quickly dry on a wind or when we keep the fan on for clothes to dry faster. So I hope, my dear students, you have understood everything. Do you have any doubt? You can ask me. Dear students, have you understood all these reasons? And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Hello, dear students. Hello, dear students. Do you understand these things? बच्चों क्या आपको समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
अगर कोई डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हैं.
Yes.
कोई डाउट है क्या बच्चों?
No, sir.
पूछना है? Okay then, बच्चों. I hope you enjoyed the class. Wish you happy learning.